comparing it to the regular 1-to-1 Tier 10 Chinese medium tank, and also how it places really within the very strong lineup of Tier 10 mediums in the game overall. But just a quick word about the gameplay itself as well. This is a really good matchup actually for the machine. Half of the enemy team is Tier 8s, which this thing, well, like any Tier 10, really should be able to rip apart. At the same time though, there are quite a few guns on the enemy team as well that we really have to be careful about. T-30, E4, E3, Jagdpanzer E100, Grille 15, all of those things can just murder this machine, so we have to be very careful. Now this position right here though is quite good for this machine. If we don't sit still for too long while the enemy is aiming on us and they can snipe our cupola, basically we can ricochet a lot of shells from our side of the turret, as we will also demonstrate during the game. But back to the main mission, how does this thing actually compare to the 1-to-1? But if you don't know the Chinese Tier 10 medium tank, basically one of its specialty was that it received a 122mm gun instead of the usual 105mm that most of the Tier 10 mediums used, which resulted in relatively low rate of fire, but gave it a rather punchy gun actually, with 440 average damage. The big difference with the 1-to-1B is that this time around, this thing received an— whoa! Look at that, Jagdpanzer E100. That was a 170mm shell, bouncing off the side of the turret worth 1000 damage. Not bad. So, 105mm gun on the 1-to-1B, but what does that mean for us? Well, for one, it means that finally we are firing APCR. Previously, the 1-to-1 with its 122mm was one of the few machines that fired regular AP. And of course, firing APCR means that finally our shells go at a really good speed. We are up to the Tier 10 regular 1478 m/sec shell traverse speed, which will help us tremendously to hit those shells, especially the snapshots. However, we are paying a hefty price for this. Basically, what they did with this gun is they gave it a little bit more penetration, they gave it much better gun handling. We have really good aim time, 2.1 seconds instead of the 2.6 that we had previously. We have better accuracy, 0.32 meters instead of the 0.34 that we had on the 122mm gun. We even have better gun depression, an extra 2 degrees from the god-awful 3 degrees that the 1-to-1 has. We are now up to 5 degrees, which is not great, but it's leaps and bounds better. But the price that you have to pay for it is DPM. This, ladies and gents, is now the Tier 10 medium tank with the lowest DPM in the game. That's right, it has lower DPM than the E50M, which is really well known for its low DPM. In fact, even a bad jet, an autoloader, can out-DPM this machine, as it has lower than 2400 DPM. I make a huge mistake here, basically going out sideways in front of two very dangerous guns, so yeah, rip me. A lot of times I feel when you're playing with this machine is you will feel like, man, I could have put in so many more shots if I would have been in any other Tier 10 medium. I mean, it's not bad. As you can see, even with my potato plays, I will actually finish top of damage in a Tier 10 match. But at the same time, could have done just a little bit more, sometimes a lot more, with a faster rate of fire. Now, something to note as well is that there are changes to the mobility of this machine, as we notice the two escaping light tanks. Let's see if we can snap one of them off. Yay, there we go. So, mobility. We have lower top speed, lowering it from 56 km/h down to 50. And we have also slightly worse power to weight ratio, now down to 14.6. So this really means that this thing, it won't feel as a fast medium.